Hello everyone, very good afternoon. Hope you all are doing well. So I am your friend Jatin Goyal. Welcome you all back to my channel Era Digi Cloud. So if you have not liked and subscribed my channel yet, you can do that by clicking on a subscribe button below this YouTube video. So in the last video, I had discussed how to create an AWS account if you want to explore AWS services. Okay. So today I will teach you how you can secure your AWS root credentials. Now remember one thing, like whenever you want to explore AWS services, you will need two things. That is authentication and authorization. If I have to explain authentication in a very simple statement, I can say that authentication means validating the identity. And whenever we talk about authorization, authorization means validating the access. Okay. So you also had provided the email ID and password that you had used to log into your AWS account. Okay. So do you know what that email ID and password is, or what type of access that email ID and password is giving to you? So today we are going to talk about that only, and the major agenda is how to secure your root credentials. Okay. So see, like whenever you create an account by your email ID and password, you create a root user actually, and you log into your AWS account by a root user. So let me just help you out with some best practice code, which is mentioned in the AWS official documentation, which says that anyone who has root user credentials for your AWS account has unrestricted access to all the resources in your account, including billing information. Means I can say that a root user can't be restricted in a single account model. Now mark my statement. I had added a few keywords here. The keyword which I have added and I want to highlight is a root user can't be restricted in a single AWS account model. So single AWS account is a keyword you need to mark, or you need to throw some light on. Okay. Obviously, as I told you, I am going to come up with more such informative videos where I will talk about multi-account architecture and single account architecture in AWS. So for now, just understand that root user is a powerful user in AWS. Okay. It means when someone is powerful, we need to add security to that. Okay. You can take that with your example in your day-to-day life. If you will take an example of a prime minister, like he is a powerful person. Okay, so we always need to secure that person from the external factors. Similar thing is here, like when I'm talking about AWS and I am creating an account with an email ID and a password, I am calling myself as a root user, and the account which I am creating, I'm trying to log in via root user has unrestricted access. Okay. So AWS always suggests that you need to protect your root user. Before that, let me talk about one more thing. Like if it is coming to your mind, who is a root user? If you're looking for some technical definition, if you're looking for some definition from the official documentation, so you have a definition here. So it is saying that when you are creating an AWS account, you begin with a sign-on identity that has complete access to the services and resources in the account. Okay. And in another language, you can say that if you are logging into AWS with the email ID and password, you are logging in as a root user. So now let's come forward to secure our root user. So first thing which we are going to do in today's video is to secure our root credentials by adding another layer of authentication, which is known as second layer of authentication. Okay. And a technical term for that is MFA, multi-factor authentication. Means other than email ID and password, if I have to log into my AWS account, I have to provide another factor of authentication, that is MFA. If you have to relate that with your real life examples, you can again relate it from the internet banking login. So nowadays, if you are using internet banking, other than your user ID and password, your internet banking login asks you for the OTP. Okay, so you must have a registered email ID or your mobile number where you are getting the OTP. Okay, and whenever it's asking for the another layer of authentication, you're providing the OTP from your mobile number or the email ID. So what it conveys like even if your credentials got compromised with, still the person will not have access to that OTP or the another layer of authentication. They will not be able to connect to your account. Similar thing is here. I am securing my root credentials by adding another layer of authentication. And soon I'll take you to the management console and I'll show you like how you can enable MFA for your root credentials. Okay. Before that, let's talk about some password best practices for the AWS account root user. So it says that like to protect your password, it is really important to follow certain best practices. The one is rotate your password on a periodic basis. Okay, so it's a best practice for our general scenarios also. Like whenever you're creating a password for some website, whenever you're creating a password for some login, you need to rotate that password on a frequent basis. Okay. Keep your password private because anyone who knows your password can access your account. Okay, so don't like write your password in the sticky notes. Don't put your password like hard coded somewhere, or don't left that notes where you have made a note of your password unattended. Okay, so better you can secure your password. If let's say you are storing a password in a file, make that file again a password protected only. Okay, so just follow these things in order to secure your password. Okay. Next thing is use a different password on AWS than you use on other sites. Okay, it's again a very common standard. It's again a very common practice that you should not use a common password for the multiple important websites. Okay, just keep the passwords for your important websites different. And also the one important thing is keep the password for your AWS site different from the regular websites which you are using on a day-to-day basis. Okay, keep the passwords for your important websites different. And also always avoid passwords that are easy to guess. Means whenever you are providing the password for your root user, don't provide a common password which can easily be compromised with. And that thing you must have seen in my previous video. If you have not seen that, please go back and watch my previous video. In that, like I had created a scenario when I was creating my account and when I was providing the email ID and password. Like first of all, I tried with a very simple password. And when I was trying to create an account with a very simple password, AWS itself basically gave me a warning that it is a simple password and easy to guess. Okay, so you can follow these practices while you are setting the password for your root credentials. Okay. Now, without any further delay, let me take you all to the management console and let's see like how we are going to add multi-factor authentication for our root user login. Okay, so move back to the management console. Okay, so we are on AWS management console sign-in page. So I'm clicking on sign in to the console from here. And I'm going to provide my root email ID. Again, I'm going to provide a password. And I will do sign in. So currently it only asked me for the email ID and password and it allowed me to connect to my AWS account. Okay, so today we are learning here how to enable multi-factor authentication for your root account. Okay, so for that, simply expand this drop down. So this is a name, Learning Cloud, I had provided when I had created my account. You must have provided another name. Okay, so you can simply expand this drop down. And there's a section called security credentials. Go to this particular section. Okay, and you will be navigated to a security credentials page. Okay, so if you are here for the first time and if you have not enabled MFA yet, you can see a warning at top which is saying that you don't have MFA assigned. Means as a security best practice, it is recommended that you assign multi-factor authentication. Okay, you can scroll down and you can see there is a section from where you can assign MFA device. Okay, now let's talk about certain pointers. Each user can have a maximum of 8 MFA devices assigned. Means when you're talking about a user, okay, for whom we are enabling the MFA, there can be maximum 8 MFA device assigned. You can assign multiple MFA devices, multiple multi-factor authentication factors for a user. Okay, maximum 8 would be there. So click on assign MFA device. Okay, I can simply say done in order to remove these suggestions. Okay, and I will be here on this particular screen. Okay, so here you have to provide a device name. It's a meaningful name to identify this device in your account. Let's say I'm providing a name, my first MFA device. Okay, you can always select the info section. You will see, like in front of the services, you see this info icon, and when you click here, at the sidebar, you can see what multi-factor authentication is. As a security best practice, use MFA for all users in your account, including the root user. Currently, we are talking about root user, okay? Because I have logged in with email ID and password, okay? You can see with MFA, a device generates a response to an authentication challenge. Sign-in requires you to provide your credentials and the device generated response. Means other than your credentials, you need to provide a device generated response. Okay. So you can see here, like we have different options for the MFA device. The first option is Authenticator app. Means you can install a virtual app on your mobile device or computer, or you can basically go ahead with the physical tokens. Okay. I am using an Authenticator app. I will add a link to a website from where you can get an idea of different MFA devices in a description section. Okay, and I will show you here too. Okay, so I'm simply going to next, and then you can see the steps. First of all, it is asking me to install a compatible application such as Google Authenticator or another applications from the list of compatible applications on my mobile device or computer. If you want to see the list of all compatible applications, you can simply open this link and you will be navigated to this particular page. Okay, I will again add this page in the description section. Okay, so for now, if anybody is interested to read more about multi-factor authentication for IAM, you can see this. Okay, and also there are the available MFA methods for IAM, which you can read from here. Okay, if you're interested in the hardware tokens, you can just use this one. If you're looking for the virtual authenticator app, you can install the application. If you are looking for some certified hardware security keys, you can basically use some third-party providers such as Ubico. Okay, so I'm interested in the virtual authenticator app. So you can see the list of compatible applications from here, which is available on Android and iOS. So based on the operating system, based on your device model, you can basically install any of these applications. Okay, so once you are ready with the application on your mobile, I will show you like how you can scan the code and how you can enable MFA. So let's take a pause of 10 seconds so that all of you would be ready with your application on your device. And then I am going to show you how you can basically enable MFA. Okay, so let's take a pause. Okay, let's come back. I hope till the time you all must have installed any of these applications on your device. I am also ready with an application on my device. So let's move back. Okay, so I'll move back to my MFA screen and I am opening the application in my mobile, which I am going to use for enabling MFA. Okay, so second step says that show QR code. You have to click here and you have to scan the same QR code in your mobile app, okay, or your device wherever you have installed the application. As soon as I will scan the QR code, my app will start generating the codes. Now the requirement is you have to put 2 consecutive codes here. Okay, the app will generate. So it's like OTP. Whenever you get OTP on your mobile or on your email ID, you see that it is valid for a certain period of time. Similarly, your app will keep on refreshing the MFA code. So I'm entering my first MFA code from my app. Okay, I will enter the second MFA code, but for that I'll have to wait for my application to generate the second MFA code. Okay, so I'll keep on waiting. It will be generated soon. Okay, and as soon as it will be generated, I will add the second MFA code. So I'm ready with the second MFA code, and now you can see that I'm typing the second one. And once I have typed both the MFA code, I can simply say add MFA. Okay, and now you can see warning is removed, and here you have the MFA device assigned. Okay, so so basically to test this thing, what I will do, I will log out and I will try to log in again, and let's see the difference this time. Okay, so you can simply say log back in. Okay, so I've logged out from my account, and I am logging in back. Okay, so you have to choose this root user radio button. Just provide your email ID, provide a password. Okay, and this time it will ask for the MFA code, which is a second layer of authentication you need to enable to secure your root credentials. Okay, so as soon as I will enable MFA, then only I will gain access to my AWS account. So this is what I wanted to show you in this particular video. I am going to come back with more such informative video in the AWS. So stay tuned, stay signed in, and don't forget to like and subscribe my channels. Okay, so once again, thank you everyone for stay tuned, for stay connected to my video. Okay, I'm looking forward for all of you to be a part of my upcoming videos. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you again. So this is Jatin Goyal signing off. Thank you and bye bye everyone.